In springtime, when the first rays of sunshine tickle the rugged Jura Mountains awake, the Jura Vaudoise Nature Park puts its most beautiful face on display. The secluded Vallée de Jeux, with its lake, lies at the heart of the park. Endless forests, rugged, unspoiled nature, and capricious weather characterize this low mountain range. Anyone who has ever seen it is captivated by its enchanting seclusion. Rissou Forest blankets 2/3 of the area and reaches across the border into France. It's Europe's largest contiguous forest chain. A green lung that nurtures countless natural treasures. Yves Monotre, an ornithologist, is up early. In the spring, he spends every rain-free minute outdoors. He places rings on Tengmao's owls. They've been known in these parts since the Ice Age.
The young owl over there is almost ready to leave the nest. I don't want to miss that moment.
Since their population is dwindling due to climate change, Yves tracks his little charges closely. Ringing them allows him to locate and count them next year. Normally, Tengmao's owls breed in abandoned black woodpecker holes in beaches. But global warming is causing small owls to move to higher altitudes with monodominant coniferous forests. Monotre provides them with nesting boxes and monitors the population's stability.
Perfect. Now I still need to measure the wing length.
The ornithologist checks their physical condition. It disturbs them momentarily, but the scent of humans is imperceptible to the parent birds.
The bird is fully fledged and about to take flight, certainly by tonight. It's the one we saw peeking out of the nesting box earlier.
As a young man, Yves worked as a postman. When he locked eyes with the golden-eyed, chocolate-colored owl for the first time, he was smitten.
I still melt away when I see one, even after 30 years of working with them. You can observe the typical behavior of a young bird. It's discovering its future environment. It's thinking to itself, I'm going to jump down there. I hope it will fly directly to a branch so it's safe from enemies.
The marten is their main enemy. Mixed forests offer superior hiding places. The owl's preferred prey, voles, also dwell under beaches there. Nesting boxes help secure the owl's future.
When I was a postman, I got up early too. But now I know what I'm getting up so early for. Our contribution is like a drop in the ocean, but it's better than doing nothing. We face a mountain of work, and in everything we do, we should think not only of our planet, but about future generations as well.
Monotre has made supporting the owl and nature his mission. We have Europe's longest forest, along with the Jura region's largest lake, Lac de Joux, at 1,000 meters. Villages dot its shores. These parts don't see much action, and those who live here must be at peace with themselves. Geneva can only be reached via a mountain pass. This piece of land, the birthplace of watchmaking, seems to be from a bygone age. Starting in the 17th century, the farmers worked as watchmakers to get through the long winters here. their summers were spent on the fields or in the woods. To this day, semi-wooded pastures shape the local landscape. The eternal interaction between man and nature is reflected in the pastures, which are used for forestry and livestock farming, tradition with a future. Shading the pastures helps mitigate the effects of global warming and benefits feed production. The Gaulet family has been working in agriculture and forestry for generations. In spring, their livestock is driven up to the mountain pastures.
Keep moving, girls.
Yeah! Freddie is a sixth-generation farmer. It's the first summer he and his young family are spending up here, 3 months alone among the cows. Marie, his Spanish wife, is used to the rugged Jura Mountains. Little Albert gets a taste of alpine air.
We can't complain. The weather's great. We follow nature's rhythm here. Twice a day we milk the cows.
Blue skies and hot Spanish summer weather is rare here, but pristine nature and the animals make up for it.
He loves it. It entertains him. The cows are real-life toys.
Freddie took over the farming business a year ago. He has horses in addition to the cows and also works as a forester. Just like his retired father, Armand, who still lends a hand on the farm and in the forest every day. Animals, nature, and family cohesion are the Gaulet family's 3 pillars of life. Freddie's mother, Marianne, is also there whenever help is needed.
This is our life, the beautiful side. You always have something to do here, indoors or outdoors, no matter what the season.
The early summer milk is used to make Gruyère. The late summer milk makes Vacherin.
We've got both feet firmly on the ground, and we have no illusions about reality. It's important to convey these things to people. You notice that a lot of people lose touch with the environment, especially in a small country like Switzerland. We have a small to medium-sized business. It's extremely important to talk to people and explain to them what's happening in nature. Hey, little guy, how you doing? You taking good care of things? Growing up here will shape his character right from the start.
He will know where his milk comes from.
The Alpine summers are a joyful, heartwarming experience for the grandparents Armand and Marianne, who have long since instilled their love for the beautiful Jura region in Marie.
It's so lovely here. Everything is always green. In Spain, we have no such landscapes. Well, we do have palm trees. But when you wake up here and see the green and the mountains, it's so lovely. And all the beautiful flowers too.
Sometimes it doesn't take much to be happy. Working in harmony with nature. The Col du Marcheroux mountain pass offers a marvel of nature at 1,500 meters above sea level. Europe's largest colony of wood ants. The ants settle at the forest's edge or in sparse woods. All the anthills are found at sun-facing tree bases. In both shape and colour, their domes function as solar collectors. The mound's surface has many small hatches. As soon as it warms up in spring, the worker ants open the sun-facing windows. Arnaud Meder, a biologist, is one of the leading authorities on ant colonies. He wrote his PhD thesis on these protected insects and serves as director of the Zoological Museum in Geneva. Once spring arrives, he can barely wait to get to the ants.
When it's sunny, like now, a vast number of ants come out. This actually looks like a spring awakening to me. When the snow melts and the first rays of sunshine hit the mounds, they all crawl out at once, even the queens. They sunbathe and thereby bring warmth into the mound. They wake up the others by warming them.
Wood ants depend on a constant temperature of 25 to 30 degrees in the anthill during their active period, which begins with the first sunny day of the year. After that, you don't get to see the queens anymore.
It's still sunny right now, but there's a cloud looming. You could also make shade and watch as their activity and their numbers decrease.
L'activité et le nombre de fourmis va diminuer. Alors voilà, on va faire de l'ombre.
I'll do that now.
Sur la tâche de
There are still quite a lot of ants out, but the shade reduces the surface temperature and causes their activity to decrease.
Et normalement, l'activité va décroître.
The ant colony, with its approximately 1,200 nests, stretches across 70 hectares. This is an ant metropolis, a so-called super colony. Many of the nests are connected via trails that cover some 100 kilometers.
This is one of the stars of the super colony. It boasts an impressive size. When I stand here, you can see its size compared to me. On the bottom is a peat layer with first plants and moss. This entire top part is active. This is a so-called mother nest. It's interconnected with others, like the ones back there. From here, 5, 6, or 7 ant roads branch off. They lead to other mounds or to trees, so food, such as honeydew from lice or building materials, can be brought back, or to capture prey. This one really is the star, or should we say, one of the stars, because there are several nests of this size.
Ants keep the soil aerated and healthy, and they gather over a ton of harmful insects every year. They play a key role in the forest ecosystem. Arnaud, a native of France, came here for the first time 30 years ago. His mother took him on an excursion to see the ants.
Du début à la fin,
I was so impressed by the wide-ranging behavior of the forest ants. It was jaw-dropping. If I hadn't come with my mother that day, I wouldn't be here today. This day influenced my whole life. This is, after all, the largest ant colony in the world. But it's also the largest super colony known and studied in the world. So it's extremely spectacular.
The Jura Vaudoise Nature Park in the canton of Vaud occupies a section of the Swiss-French Jura Mountains. The Dent de Vaullion, standing at just under 1,500 meters, is one of its highest mountains. Dry stone walls, once built by farmers as pasture boundaries, are a signature landscape feature here. Park staff member Caroline Camisset is intent on saving them for posterity. With Pro Natura's Quintin Kohler, she's looking for signs of ermine activity. They live in these walls.
We have some traces over there.
Great. Indeed, you can see the paw pad imprints of the little ermines quite nicely.
These soil stains are ermine paw pad tracks. When they walk through the tunnel and pass this inky spot, they get ink on their paws. And when they continue on, they get to the paper, where they leave paw prints. This shows us that they are present. And then we know that we might catch sight of these shy creatures, because they aren't easily observable in the wild. It's a good method to find out if they're here or not.
So let's have the next sheet, and then the ink, that we can properly track the ermines. It gets absorbed over time. Right now we have enough for the coming next week, so you can put it back in.
Yep.
With our project, we track ermine on the alpine meadows. Together with Quentin from ProNatura, we want to set up a conservation program that will give them new places to live. Branch and stone piles, for example. This would give them new spaces for living, eating and hunting. That's what we hope to achieve with this project.
Ermine are daytime hunters in summer, but they are incredibly timid. If they spot an enemy, they instantly vanish into their hiding places.
Do you see that? That's very typical. They can enter there, where you see that big hole.
Yes, exactly.
This way they can sneak out and disappear back into the wall. It helps them to hide more than anything else. That's the goal. The dry walls allow them to move around safely.
That's exactly right. Yeah, to move around and to hide from enemies. And look, there's a red kite.
The ermine, aka great weasel, is a predator species belonging to the marten family. Their distinctive feature is a black tail tip.
Ermine are amazing. The way they play. It must be brilliant to get inside an ermine's head. They hop all over the place, stop in their tracks, and then prance on again. I love watching them. They're too cool. Preserving this species would also protect many others. If their status is upgraded, many other species benefit as well. Farmers like them because they're ingenious vole hunters. It thus makes sense to have more walls, hedges and woodpiles on farmland as well. Where there are more ermine, there are fewer voles. So our project is also interesting for farmers.
Strenuous work awaits them this afternoon. Quentin Kohler persuaded a farmer to build a woodpile for the ermine on his land. Nature conservation measures move along at full speed, whatever the weather conditions. That's the Jura region for you.
Of course, it's also raining again. The weather is very capricious here. You never know what's in store for you up here on the alpine pastures.
The idea is to build a woodpile that will serve as a shelter for ermine. We're building a kind of 5-star hotel for them.
The first order of business is the sleeping space made of logs and featuring an entrance. Foliage will provide the soft padding. It looks a bit like a teepee. The bedroom will be built using a special method to make it virtually rainproof.
Avec ce projet de promotion des petites structures,
With this project, we want to integrate more structure into the landscape.
et du coup, on va faire la promotion des tas de
We
bois.
advocate assembling wood and stone piles and planting bushes.
Mais après, c'est vrai que les hermines, elles vont aussi aller
But ermine also wander close to buildings.
la structuration du paysage.
We thus need to take residential neighborhoods into consideration.
En béton, mais d'avoir
Here we need to build some concrete walls as well to create gardens and backyards full of structure.
utilise, mais pas
This would
seulement.
also benefit other animals such as hedgehogs and
De
amphibians.
temps en temps, des amphibiens qui peuvent aller là.
So this structuring of the landscape offers many benefits.
Cette structuration du paysage, elle va servir à plein de choses, vraiment.
What looks cluttered to some is a paradise for others. It's just a matter of giving nature back some space within our Lebensraum, or living space. At the other end of the park, Arnaud Mieder is still tirelessly on the move. When he immerses himself in the world of ants, he can't curb his enthusiasm. And on this day in mid-May, his perseverance is once again paying off.
What a wonderful surprise. Today we had a few rays of sunshine and I actually discovered some flying ants. Sexually mature females about to make their mating flight. Usually this happens later in the year, at the end of May or early June. After mating, they try to build a new anthill or integrate in an existing one.
While the queens focus on laying eggs, the labouring caste is busy making a perfect home. They gather resin, an antibiotic from trees, and incorporate it into their nests. They use their antennae to detect the unfamiliar sense of intruders and mercilessly attack enemies and ants from other colonies. Larger-sized enemies are repelled with ant venom.
Wood ants don't bite. Instead, they spray acid to defend themselves. To demonstrate this, I can pass my hand over them and we can watch them spray 20 to 30 centimeter high jets of formic acid. It's impressive to see, and you can smell it too. It fills the air with formic acid, which is extremely strong and tastes like vinegar, so it's an insanely strong repellent. It even keeps birds away.
Such fascinating scientific experiments. Without permission, they're prohibited.
A common violet can show acid strength, since the petals change color in its presence. The violet develops little pink spots, which means the acid is extremely strong. If you compare this to a violet that I didn't hold into acid, there's a really big difference in the coloring. So the acid has an effect on the color. Without the acid, the violet's color returns to normal. My passion for ants is endless. You're always discovering something new about them. It's very important to remain as curious as a child, even when you're an adult.
Wonders of nature. In the remote, sparsely populated Jura region, they can be discovered at every turn. A new day begins in the Rizu forest. This woodland on the border with France stretches along 15 kilometers. Compared to other forests in Europe, large parts of its inner forest are still intact, thanks to close-to-nature forest management. Rizhou has not been spared from bark beetle infestation. This problem is encountered throughout Europe, where spruce monocultures dominate. Farmer forester Armand Golay is helping his son Freddy remove infested trees today. At the edge of a forest, the storm knocked down the outermost trees. The newly exposed trees suffer sunburn, making them more vulnerable to pests. But the bark beetle is not all bad. It accelerates forest renewal.
Le bosquet, il est toujours dans la forêt.
The bark beetle lives in the forest. It's always there.
Chaque année, il va attaquer des
It attacks weak trees, trees that have been struck by lightning, trees infected with fungus or red rot. These make easy prey for the beetle.
Et c'est des proies faciles pour lui, ça.
While the forest destroys itself, it also regenerates itself. In this family, father and son work hand in glove. Freddy Golay finished milking the cows and turns his attention to the comptoir mare, a logging horse that helps him do sustainable forestry work. The logs that his father felled are extracted by horse rather than machinery.
Ça change un peu.
This work is a bit different. It needs more preparation.
Non, dans la forêt, c'est rare.
Only a few people still do it this way, mostly as a hobby.
Loisir. Après, moi, comme forestier,
I think I'm one of the only forest workers in the canton of Vaud who still works with logging horses.
un des seuls, à ma connaissance. Ouais,
She can hardly wait. She wants to get going.
un peu. Ils aiment bien quand ça bouge. Here. Here. Hop. Here. Allez. Hop.
Sustainable forestry work can actually be fun. Using horses instead of machines is easier on the soil, and new forest is generated much faster. Maneuvering within the forest is a skill that requires practice, but the local comptoir breed is ideally suited for this.
Non, c'est...
When they're young, these horses test us a bit.
Après, ça reste des animaux, ils nous testent un peu.
They sometimes want to have the upper hand, and then it's up to us to show them who's the boss.
Comme avec les humains.
It's the same with
On
humans,
parle pas le même langage.
except we don't speak the same language.
Et puis on
You
voit,
have to stay
elle-
calm and patient.
Elle sait quand elle doit attendre. Après, c'est vrai
You
que
can see her here.
elle est calme.
She knows when to wait.
C'est des chevaux de
The calmer we are, the more relaxed they are too.
leur race, mais
Generally, they're a calm
si
breed,
on est
but when we're anxious, they feel it too.
à travers les guides.
Freddy, est-ce que tu pourrais me
Freddy, could you please remove that little log back there?
sur les billes?
That one?
Billon.
Exactly. A good space for a new, healthy patch of forest. The Golays are convinced that it will grow on its own. It just needs time. Mighty trees form an immense, partly impenetrable wilderness, the forest interior. Those who are unfamiliar with it will get lost quickly. It's never been any different in the Rizhou forest. During World War II, resistance fighters hid Jewish refugee children from France here. Smugglers used the forest. Napoleon's soldiers passed through it. Some of today's giant trees are witnesses to this history. And there are spruces, whose wood is coveted by violin makers around the world. Armand Golay knows each of these old trees. Today, Ernst Zürcher, a forest scientist, is visiting. Together, they will take a closer look at one of these colossi, an approximately 250-year-old spruce.
C'est un très bel épicéa, bien situé.
This is a very nice spruce. Straight, a good location, protected from the wind and healthy.
Donneur au tout.
We'll leave it be.
Il peut rester encore.
It already boasts a good diameter, but in another 50 or even 100 years, it'll be even more valuable for a violin maker. Then he can use it to build all kinds of instruments. Violin, cello, double bass. Its current diameter is only suitable for violins. It's a special drill. We can use it to see if the tree has grown evenly. We try to get to the heart of the tree. The harsh climate at an altitude of 1,000 meters, coupled with barren limestone soils, causes these trees to grow very slowly and evenly. If their specific site lets them grow straight up into the sky, they can aspire to the designation resonant spruce. In any case, this sample shows that this is an outstanding tree, which could be used for resonance wood. It's in good health, and the annual rings are tight and even.
Here, the objective of the tree growth is quality rather than volume. This is what we should put more emphasis on as we cultivate our forests. These local forests are one of a kind the world over. We no longer have such mixed forests with slow-growing trees. Those have been cut down and replanted. But in a man-made forest, you'll never find tonewood like this. It's impossible. So this wood is invaluable.
The preciousness of this forest is down to sustainable forest management. It protects the ecosystem and is guided by it.
To maintain healthy and resilient forests in the future, you have to keep the forest relatively closed. Individual trees can be felled, but the forest must be preserved as a self-preserving system. When the right size is reached, the wood should be removed tree by tree. This is referred to as forest gardening. Large areas of forest should never be clear-cut, as this exposes the trees to direct sunlight. And the intensity of the sunlight is increasing all the time.
Sergio has been preaching for years that the forest plays a key role in fighting climate change. And slowly, this is dawning on us. The forest is a recreational area, offering coolness under its canopy and preserving the ecosystem's water balance. In the Jura, a water-permeable karst mountain range, runoff drains very quickly from the ridges to the underground. From here, it flows all the way to Lac de Joux. The only tributary of this lake is the Aube River, whose source is in France. Nestled in the Jura mountain chain, the lake attracts nature enthusiasts all year round. Boaters and surfers come in summer. In winter, it's a paradise for ice skaters. North of Lac de Joux lies the smaller Lac Brunei. From this point on, the Aube also flows underground, traversing the Val Aube caves in the next valley. The cave system was formed by water over millions of years. The Dripstone Cave at the northernmost edge of the nature park draws tourists and scientists alike. Mark Lutscher, a speleologist and hydrogeologist, is currently doing a study here on the risk of catastrophic floods. Based on sediment layers in the cave, he's able to identify past floods.
La question qui nous intéresse, c'est de savoir si les événements...
We're trying to find out whether the extreme flood events of recent decades were the most severe, or whether even worse floods visited the area in the past. We also want to know how often such flood events have occurred. We want to try to understand the variations in the climate here over several millennia. We're trying to identify the extreme events, and based on this, predict the risk of flooding outside the cave.
This is a highly pressing issue, especially in view of the growing incidence of extreme rainfall in recent years. When you venture into the depths here, you can feel the force of nature. raging water. Only shortly before, it fell as rain on the mountain ridges. To some, this looks adventurous, but it harbours real danger. Speleologists need a very accurate weather forecast here. Lütje can only go to the cave edge. In the remote passages, working as a team is imperative for safety reasons.
An underground river flows through a large part of the Vallée de Joux karst mountains. I'm particularly interested in the fluctuations of the water level. Today, the water level is low to medium. During floods or extreme rain, the water can rise by several meters in no time at all.
Quantities of water whose power is impressive. When the underground river re-emerges at the end of the cave, it's dangerous. This valley was visited by flooding disasters in the past. Climate change is making this concern real once more. This is where the forest comes into play again. Where you have trees growing on karst stone, they hold back the water and prevent it from running off too quickly. The entire Rizhou forest stands on stone boulders with only the barest layer of humus, a wonder of nature. Enchanted forests, wild and untouched. A fragile paradise. Ernst Zürcher, Professor Emeritus of Wood Science, has spent a lifetime examining the hidden side of the forest and its significance.
A silver fir growing next to a spruce can help the spruce withstand dry conditions. The silver fir has deep roots which are important for water uptake in very hot, very dry conditions. They pump up water to their upper, superficial roots, which sweat out or transpire water vapor as soon as they are exposed to the dry, hot upper layers of soil. The soil is thus moistened, despite the very hot conditions. It's like rain that comes from below. A spruce that grows next to a silver fir benefits from this rain.
In contrast to the unstable monocultures that have been planted over the past 2 centuries solely for timber harvesting, the green lung effect of mixed forests is still intact. The well-known tree specialist cares deeply about the fascinating ecosystem of the forest.
Over there, we can see part of the forest's hidden face. Roots like this come into contact with other such roots via the white dots, or fungi in the humus. The symbiosis of fungi and fine root network creates a veritable communication system at the root level. So if you were to pull this tree out of the forest, it would also yank out other connected trees, along with the very abundant fungi. This shows how interconnected and interdependent the forest is.
Message is sent via root system. The tree roots or anchors, along with the interwoven fungi threads, extend quite far. In fact, they reach twice the width of the crown. One objective of Zürcher's research is to raise awareness of the fascinating forest, which is so much more than just a piece of land. It needs to be better protected. In our fight against climate change, the forest could be our best ally.
As we find ourselves in a very precarious situation, it would be enormously important to re-establish peaceful contact with nature to create a viable, sustainable world. A contact based on respect and mutual interest. We need to understand how nature wants to function. We need to partner up with it. By respecting nature, we can receive gifts from it. This applies to the forest as well. What does the forest want from us humans? It will give us returns once we understand what it really needs.
To the east, the nature park extends almost to Lake Geneva, where it shows a more gentle face. Romanesque villages characterize the hilly landscape. One of these is the picturesque Romainmortier. Diane Hostetler lives in this picture-perfect village with its Romanesque collegiate church. She earns her living as an outdoor guide. Diane organizes excursions into nature, and she couldn't imagine a more beautiful spot to live in than Romainmortier, amidst all its lush greenery.
I think it's my calling. This is where I'm supposed to be. Sometimes you just know where you belong, and I know that I belong here, in Romainmortier.
C'est ce qui s'est passé avec Romainmortier.
The old village draws many visitors. Most of them come to see the abbey. Diane's tours, however, provides a lot more than that. They take only gear and equipment. Food is provided by nature. It's a kind of survival training for beginners.
We leave Romainmortier and enter the forest. An adventure in nature awaits.
Hikers are from the surrounding area, looking for nearby adventure and spending a night in the woods. Diane's tour concept emphasizes local adventures that have fallen off the radar.
Yes, exactly. It's sticky.
Ça colle bien.
It really sticks.
Ouais, ça colle bien. Mais en fait, on se dit que toujours c'est les enfants qui peuvent s'amuser dehors.
You always think that only kids can have fun outdoors, but adults can too. I want to reintroduce the love of the great outdoors to them. My focus is adults, since they will pass their love of nature on to their children. So I think it's good to show adults that they too can enjoy just being silly and having fun in nature.
On réapprend aux adultes à rigoler un peu.
Just escaping one's normal routine, taking a break out in nature. The communal search for something edible is also part of the adventure.
What are we going to gather today?
On va cueillir de la berce.
We're going to pick hogweed
Appelée pâte douce
and
aussi.
goutweed,
Et puis de l'égopode.
and tonight we'll make a wild plants dish out of it. We can make wood-fired flatbread to go with it, if you like.
Voilà. J'ai jamais goûté ça.
I have never eaten that before. I can't wait to try it.
Oui.
Mikos the dog is part of the group. He no doubt knows every single plant by smell. The others will have to keep their eyes peeled.
On a de la chance parce que c'est la nature.
We're lucky because nature offers us so much. Goutweed is rather well known and simple to prepare.
On peut facilement la cuisiner, c'est l'égopode.
Diane has found a morel.
It's a case of beginner's luck.
C'est la cardamine.
This is bittercress. meadow foam. It can substitute for pepper in dishes. Its flavour is very strong. It is.
While the group heads towards the campfire, a working day ends at the Golay family's home with an aperitif. The men have returned from the woods. The cows have been milked. Now it's time to take a break, the Romanic way. Grandfather Armand can hardly believe his luck. I've practically spent my whole life here at the mountain hut. That's why I'm thrilled that Freddie and Marie are carrying on the work here on the mountain. They're the third generation of Golays to do so. That's grandmother. Look at the work she did.
That's grandmother?
Yes.
That's you. I've never seen Grandma in shorts before.
Indeed, yeah, that's me.
And I was thinking what skinny legs she had. There must have been a proper thunderstorm. Whenever Armand puts on shorts, the weather turns out to be bad, I swear. I bet they couldn't believe their eyes when he came to the stable in shorts.
We climbed up whenever we could, every weekend, every holiday. And yes, we loved it back then. No water, no electricity, but that's what made life there good. When Grandma washed us in the evening using a watering can in the kitchen, those are all nice memories. And the worst punishment we could have faced was if our chalet had been taken away from us. And the worst moment was always the end of a vacation, when we had to go back to the village and return to civilization.
Just around the corner is another alpine summer among the Combières, as the valley residents are known. They want for nothing. As they say, those who were born here never leave, but if they do, they come back. At the other end of the park, Diane's group has arrived at the overnight campsite. As long as no tents are pitched, spending the night outdoors requires no permit.
Fine, let's settle here. We've still got a lot to do. Gather wood, make a fire, chop up the plants we picked, the onions, and then we'll enjoy a beer together, okay? So let's get to work.
Lighting a campfire may only be done on wet days and in a fire bowl, and with permission.
Ah, what a good cracking sound.
Moi, je trouve ça. Ce qui est vraiment positif, c'est de sortir un petit peu de sa zone de confort.
I think it's great that you are forced out of your comfort zone.
On est bien chouchouté.
Just a little bit, because we are, of course, well looked after here.
C'est possible et puis c'est bien.
But it gives you a sense of confidence and empowerment. In a very small way, we feel a bit like heroes, a tiny bit. This equips you for other moments when you have to be much more heroic.
D'autres moments où on doit vraiment être beaucoup plus héroïque, en fait.
Happiness is to be in action, to be close to nature, to decelerate for a while. For participants, this is a luxury. They meticulously try to avoid leaving any traces of their visit in the forest. This is paramount for Diane when she reintroduces people to nature.
Venez dans la nature, venez vous ressourcer.
Step back into nature to recharge your batteries and learn to understand our surroundings better. People need to develop enthusiasm for nature. When you are enthusiastic about something, You love it, and you feel obliged to protect it.
Protecting nature. Living with, from, and in nature. This idea wins over the participants of today's tour. Diane's passion for nature is not unique. She's one of many who are fighting to preserve the stunning nature of this hidden corner of the rugged Jura Mountains.